I mean, I feel like what we can know about God, like so much of God is unknowable to us. And Luther talks about the backside of God, like the fact that we should be glad that a lot of God's unknowable to us. That means we are the creatures and God is the creator. And so much of who God is unknowable to us, but what we can reliably know about God's nature, we know in the way that God chose to reveal who God is in the person of Jesus Christ, right? And so that's what we can reliably know. So I feel like a lot of other stuff is really our projections, is kind of like we take the worst of ourselves and then project that on God. Like God would be as spiteful and vengeful and revenge-seeking as I am. Well, surely, I mean, if I was God, that's how I'd be. So I assume that's how God is, right? And so what we see on the cross is the opposite of that, meaning that's not what we would ever come up with ourselves. We would never come up with that as the fullest expression of God saying, this is forever now how I want to be known, right? Like, I'm done with all this other stuff. I am showing you who I am at the cross, especially. And so, to me, the sort of, it just shuts all of our stuff down. I think it just shuts it down. And so, Lutherans really believe more than anything in this blessed exchange, meaning that what's happening there is that all of our stuff, meaning our revenge seeking and our violence and like what you guys would say, our scapegoating, all of that stuff there is allowed to go to its logical conclusion, which is the suffering of God. That creates suffering in God, right? And so when taken to its logical conclusion, it looks like the cross, right? And so that God would voluntarily sort of endure that means a couple things. One is that it's like taking all of our junk and then exchanging God's blessedness for it. So any righteousness that we have is the righteousness of God. It's not the righteousness of our own works, right? It's of God. So it's like we got the best end of that deal. Like it was just this switcheroo, right? So our righteousness is never our own in Lutheran thinking. And so the other thing it does is it says that God is especially present in the places that we think are God forsaken. I mean, we would never come up with that. What self-respecting God would get himself crucified and killed in a completely preventable way? It's shameful, right? We would never choose this. And so God's saying, look, the inversion of human power is how I'm choosing to come to you, in a cradle and in a cross. So we're just forever sort of stymied by that and having to deal with the fact that then also all of the places in our lives that we think God is not present, God is actually especially present.